Lunch therapy. Here we are. So good to see everybody. So glad to be here. I'm really excited today because I've got Jason Stuart on the show. He's a hilarious actor, comedian, just a funny person. He's going to be telling a crazy story. Tomorrow, if all goes well, we're going to have Nelson Tyler on the show, who invented the jetpack. As many of you may know if you saw a show earlier this week. But we're going to get into it now. Welcome to Lunch Therapy.
I don't want to make my bed. I don't want to get a job. I just want to live with my parents. I just want to live with my parents.
All right, that was the classic punk rock song, I Just Want to Live With My Parents. I like that intro because, as all punkers know, they just want to live with their parents, right? How many of you out there want to live with your parents? I think we should take a show of hands. Let me know. Some people do, some people don't. We'll have to ask Jason if he wants to live with his parents. Okay, so in through the nose, out through the toes. We're going to take in 3 breaths. Hold it. Let it go. I have behind me, for your ASMR enjoyment, Kyler Boone's Nomadic Ambiance to calm you down, make you feel better. I see that Jay Gaffney is here. He says, my parents are both dead, so yeah, he doesn't want to live with his parents, unfortunately. Well, I don't think he could actually live with his parents if they're dead. So that kind of takes care of that. All right, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Jason is going to be here live. He's going to be telling crazy stories. If you want to comment, I can put the comments on the screen. If you have any questions for him, if you have any requests, perhaps, you can put them on the screen. He may do them, he may not. In through the nose, out through the toes. That's true. You could bring their urns home. I don't know where their urns are right now. Let it go. I'm feeling better already. I'm not feeling too good about the Jay Gaffney parents thing, but I guess that's life. We're going to move into, I just have a couple of things to show you, and then we're going to move to talk to Jason Stewart. He is waiting in the green room. I think Boney is probably giving him a hard time in there. He's got a lot. Boney just talks a lot, and it's really hard to concentrate. So we're just going to keep it moving. This is something that I wanted to show you because I think it's very appropriate. It's a buffalo jumping on a trampoline. This is from Buffalo Whisperer. Yeah, I always like the people in these videos that are filming because they always have things to say like, "Oh my God!" I love that. If you haven't seen a buffalo on a trampoline before, now you have. Todd Lee is here.
I swear I'm never gonna put that together.
So good to see you. He's face dancing, I think.
Oh no.
Doing a bit of a face plant. All right, we're moving on to one more thing that I want to show you before we get to Jason, and that is an ASMR thing to really relax you out there. I know Todd Lee needs some relaxing. I know that Jay, of course, needs some of this. That's how I tenderize my buffalo meat. Yeah, that's how trampolines are good for that. gonna amp up the volume here so you get a little bit of the ambiance. So this is from Ma Ambiance. It's a great site. If you ever need to just look at a bunny, you have it there ready for you. All right, we're moving through this. We've got an ad. Joe Fury has an ad that he wanted to, he's sponsoring this new product. It's called Crepe Erase. I don't know if you're aware of it, but you put it on your skin and it erases your crepey skin. And, a lot of us, we're heading towards the crepey skin. You got to get this product.
Look, completely invisible. Not a line on my face.
Crepe away your crepey skin.
Crepe Erase. Crepe Erase.
Crepe away
It's a
your
beautiful
crepey
product.
Skin. Crap, that's some crepey skin. Wagyu buffalo. Don't know what it means, but I like it. So now on to the main event. Jason Stuart is going to be here. We're going to ask him questions. We're going to talk to him. He's going to tell a crazy story because I'm sure he's got a lot of crazy stories. I'm going to show you a clip from the show that he's on Amazon. I highly recommend it. It is the episodes are short but potent. I'll tell you, it's going to take you on a mental journey that you will never forget. I'll tell you, and you'll laugh a lot. So here it is, Smothered, the trailer for Smothered, and then we're going to bring Jason on.
Everybody loves me.
Everyone hates you.
Randy.
I'm Ralph.
Randy.
Randy.
He's Randy.
I'm Randy.
In chapter 2 of my book, Dead...
Why aren't we having sex anymore?
You're like an Alzheimer victim. We had sex 3 days ago.
When?
Oh my God. We whacked each other off during This Is Us. Okay, can I be honest now?
Oh, it's just gonna be mean now.
No, I'm gonna be honest.
Mean.
Honest.
Mean.
Honest.
Mean.
Direct. You've turned into your fucking grandmother.
Yentl changed my life.
Fuck. Barbara Streisand.
Fuck. See ya.
Oh, I'm hard. Your inner child is dead.
Just because I said no to the ball gag does not mean that my inner child is dead. You're an emotional terrorist.
Oh, fuck you!
Fuck you.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Okay, how do you feel right now? Hey!
Wait.
Okay.
You could have the cottage in Big Bear.
I am not living in the Dr. Woods! Dr.
Gentlemen.
The IRS is suing you for $200,000.
Oh my God,
I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's super good. I've seen the whole thing. I binge watched it, as it were. And it's cool because they're getting counseling. This couple is getting counseling all along with different counselors. And the question is, was that Peter Dinklage? I don't think so, but you can ask. You can ask Jason. I'm bringing Jason on. You can't hear him right now. He's talking to me. I better get him in here. So we're going into our segment. It's called Crazy Stories. Jason, sorry about that. They can't, I haven't worked it out so you can be in the show before I get to you. I would like to do that. But tell me, was that Peter Dinklage is the question?
Well, the only thing is I cannot tell you now. I cannot tell you now. You have to actually watch the series.
Yeah.
It's in episode number 2. Can I say the F word on your show?
Yes, you may.
That episode is called Fuck Barbara Streisand.
Okay.
And you have to watch that show and figure out for yourself. There's a lot of talk about it on the internet, though.
I bet there is.
And I'm a big fan of Peter.
Yeah.
I met him when I saw a screening of The Station Agent.
Oh, great movie.
I was incredibly moved, and it made me just want to act and jump into the screen, be with Thomas McCarthy, who was the director.
Oh, yeah, super good movie.
I've been trying to get in touch with him ever since.
And yeah, Game of Thrones too. I mean, forget about it. That is such a great part.
Yeah.
All right, so here he is, Jason Stewart. We've got him here. We've isolated him. He's there in his compound. I'm here in my compound. And we can ask him whatever we want. The first thing that I did want to ask you about it, when I see a series like this, which is really well written, really funny, well shot, well directed, I think, how did this thing come about? It's in a different format than I've seen before.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That means so much to me because you're also an artist. And when you say that, it just means the world to me.
Oh, good. So tell me, how did you create this thing? How did it come about? What is its origin story?
Well, I've known Mitch Hara for around 30 years.
Yeah.
We're just friends. We are not lovers. There is no romantic connection at all.
Uh-huh.
And he had, and I have talked about doing something together for years, and nothing came of it. And I tried to create a series called 50 about people who were over 50, and it didn't work out with him. He was a little, as you see him, he's a little over the top.
Mm-hmm. Over the top.
Into his mind, it doesn't matter what it is. He is that character. And when he comes on the show, he'll tell you that I'm my character, but I'm not at all. As you can see, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do a series with me, even though I had to let him go from the series that we were going to do 50 that never got made, because he had offended some of the other young straight boys in the
Really?
writing room. So, yeah, so we had to, of course, regroup. And he called me on the phone and said, "Would you want to do this thing where we'd be in therapy?" And we, I guess, to develop these characters. And he called his friend Terry Hanover, the director. We got this great editor, Rob Paget. We asked all our friends to be in, Helen Hong, Peter Dinklage. Maybe Clint Bowers, Scott Krinsky.
The actors are all really good too that you bring on for each episode.
Alec Raja.
Yeah. They. So did you then just write these yourselves?
Well, at first we got together, we improvised, and we talked and we talked and we talked about what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Mitch wrote it down. He's much better at that. He sent it back to me. I rewrote it, and then we started rewriting together, and then we started to work with the director, and we really fine-tuned it.
One of the things about it, the reason I think people are saying that, asking if you're a couple, is it your repartee seems like two people that have been together for a long time. And I think, anybody can relate to that, some of this stuff. I mean, granted, these people are vicious with each other. But there is a love that's underneath that's really interesting. And
there's
anybody.
a series in England about these two guys. It's called Vicious. It's Derek Jacobi and Ian McKellen.
Oh, yeah, they're great. I love them.
But we wanted to do something real. We wanted to do something artistic. We wanted to work on our craft. We didn't want to do a vanity project. We wanted to do something that we were proud of. My rules to him are, first were, it's got to be real, it's got to be good, and we can't rush and just do it. Mm-hmm. And we honestly started in November, and then we working on it, and we started shooting in January and February of 2019.
Wow. So you got it of 2019. And then it came out a year later. Yeah. 6
months to edit because we had two different editors. The first editor didn't work out because of time restraints. The first editor was working with Adam Sandler because Adam Sandler's company, Happy Madison, helped us at Sony. They let us use the office space and shoot there and everything. They were really supportive. And then we moved on to another editor because he wasn't available, Rob Paget, and he became what we call the Fab Four: Mitch, myself, Terry, the director, and Rob, all four of us. And I think what we really wanted to do is something that was quality. And I kept saying David O. Russell. Mm-hmm. I loved American Hustle, and I loved the Silver Playbook and the way he did his films. And, I just loved the way he had this sort of freewheeling feeling that was yet very controlled at the same time.
He is interesting. I've been on the set of one of his movies, at least one of it. I Heart Huckabees.
Oh wow, that's the one with all the drama.
My wife was in it. She was Mark Wahlberg's wife. Mark Wahlberg's wife in the movie. Yeah, Kamala Lopez. Yeah.
Kamala Lopez is your wife?
Yeah, you know her?
Kamala.
Oh well, there you have it.
Oh my God. We were in a group together years and years ago, an actors group of sorts, I think.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a small world. It's a small world. So, yeah, I was on the set, and David has a very interesting way of directing, at least at that time. He talks through the whole thing. Like, he is like almost in the scene, coaching people as the scene's happening. He's very, the sound editor must have a nightmare when they have to pull out his voice from the show, because it is just, he's just there. He's like a character in the scene.
I would kill you, me, and 2 other people to work with him.
Yeah. What did you say?
I would kill you, me, and 2 other people to work with him.
Is that a threat? That's hilarious. So you're also a stand-up as well, right? So how does that help you with your improv skills, or where did you learn to improvise like you do?
Well, I have to say the first time I really knew that I was great at improvisation was when I was guest starring on a recurring role in My Wife and Kids with Damon Wayans. So we would do the show, and then we would they'd have a 5:30 taping. I played the shrink, Dr. Stevens. Stephen Michael Thomas. Yeah, Stephen Michael Thomas, Dr. Thomas. And it was so many years ago. It was 20 years ago now. And then when we do the second one, the director would say, okay, you guys just do whatever you want. And Damon Wayans, who I'd known from the Comedy Store, we were old comedy buddies, he would try to trip me up the first time we did it. And I realized, oh my God, he doesn't know who he was dealing with. I love doing this. Yeah. And I'd also been in Harvey Lembeck's comedy workshop. I also studied with the Groundlings. And I think being dyslexic and being a kid that was, beat up and, verbally abused for being gay when I was a kid, I had to be really fast on my feet.
Yeah.
So I think that I was able to create that kind of an environment in my work. And it became part of the reason that I got a lot of work. I mean, I think half the independent films I've improvised on.
Yeah.
So, or added stuff to, or helped create. I always went in and worked within to create a better working experience and a better character.
People sometimes don't realize how much of an art form that is, improvising, especially in a film, because there's such a dance that goes on. Because everybody, if you're with people that are not used to being improvised actors, they tend to want to talk the whole time. So people talk over each other a lot because they feel like they're not doing anything if they're just listening.
It's an art. And also from stand-up, my stand-up is so improvisational. It's always been that way. But it's sort of, I used to say it's sort of like a card catalog. Remember those old card catalogs you'd have? And in my mind, I'd see something and all of a sudden we'd go to that page and I'd have the material for that page or go to that page. And so I always did that. And always being gay and Jewish from a big city and going to work in Oklahoma and South Carolina and all the places, I headlined comedy clubs for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I had to really know how to deal with different kinds of people, and I had to change on a dime.
Yeah. Do you, so Todd Lee is asking if the show is mostly improv or scripted.
Totally scripted.
Yeah. So it was improv, and then it was written down, and then it was scripted. Yeah.
I'd say around 10% we added stuff as we were doing, especially at the beginning and at the end. Mm-hmm. But very much scripted. But also happy accidents would happen. Mm-hmm. Like we would do business, like in the first scene, when I take the breath mints and he's talking and I shake the breath mints during when talking, which drove Mitch nuts. And all sorts of things. There was one scene where he kissed me really, really hard and almost, oh my God, almost busted my lip.
Yeah.
And I was so mad, and then he put his hand on my face. And no actor wants someone to put your hand on his face.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh God, I got to stay in character. So I stayed in character. And then when he kissed me really hard and then he pulled away, I went to kiss him back again. Yeah. And it was hysterically funny that after being treated so badly that I would want to kiss him again. Mm-hmm. And that's where these incredibly funny moments would
happen. What I like about it too. There are these real moments, where there are these real moments that happen. And you can see they're very moment to moment. And you wonder, like, is this possible that they planned this out? Because it seems so impulsive.
Well, it only comes from rehearsal and from being in sync and running it. I think when you do things fast, that's what you get a fast, limited performance. It can be still good, but you don't get something. Happy moments don't happen as much.
Yeah. I always say that. Prepare, and then let it go.
when I was working on Birth of a Nation with Nate Parker and Armie Hammer, I had a nice supporting role in that film 4 years ago, and there was no improvisation in that film at all. But yet there was a rehearsal period in terms of the way Armie and I would just run lines over and over and over again. And after a while, he and I had the same kind of work ethic. After a while, we were so in sync that things would just happen in the scenes that were wonderful. We were just so in it. We were in it. And the language was also, you know, it's hard times and small farmers like you and myself, breaking even's hard enough. You know, so it's, you know, it's a certain kind of dialogue that you can't really improvise easily. So you have to be so deeply in it that the improvisation really comes from the way you're playing the scene because you're so relaxed.
I like that. Now, you worked on the movie Tangerine, is that right?
Oh, yeah, for Sean Baker.
I want to just talk about that for a second because a lot of times you'll be talking to casting directors or people out there in the business, and they'll be like, oh, you can just shoot a movie on your iPhone. They did it with Tangerine. So I wanted to find out what kind of a production that actually was, because I think sometimes people think, oh, there's just somebody walking around with their iPhone filming this thing. But
everything was, you know, Sean and Chris, the writer, the two that wrote it together, and they were so planned out. And Sean would occasionally yell out a line that he wanted to put in it, or not yell, he'd tell me before. Yeah. And that's how we would add it to it. He'd want a specific line or moment, and you'd work it in. The film was totally improvised.
Wow.
But there were complete moments of dialogue and adding things to it. And, you know, you just have to really listen. You have to really listen. You have to be in the moment. And I have to say, I'd never done anything with a camera so small ever as an actor. Yeah. I did it in 2014, I think 2014, because it came out in 2015. And they had this stick that was like, it looked like a broomstick with a thing on it. And then there was a lens in front of it. And then somebody else was holding this really big thing of lights, and they were running around. And if you watch the film, I'm in around 10 minutes of the film, but I keep coming back and forth. I play the manager of Hamburger Mary's. And you see that I'm yelling at times because buses were going by. I was standing in front of on the street, and I couldn't believe that. I thought, oh my God, you know, if I ever hear anybody say we're going to fix the sound in post, I just take it right there. Because I made things, and that's the worst thing that can happen. Yeah. But in this film, the sound guy was absolutely brilliant, and it was great. But you'll notice I'll go, you know.
So there was a whole sound rig, though. There was a guy with a boom and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think people think that you're just using the phone exclusively, but clearly they planned that out in a very particular way.
I was standing in front of Hamburger Mary's as the manager, and they were actually having a comedy night that night.
Really?
And people were saying, "Oh, Jason, are you going on? What's going on with you?" And somebody said, "Do you work here?" I said, "No, we're shooting a movie." Well, I don't see any, you know. Oh my God. And people were talking to us while we were doing it. It was just really crazy.
Oh, I love it. I
went to Sundance to see it. That's the first time I saw it. I have to say I was completely blown away. If you have not seen the film, it's available on Amazon and all the platforms, and it's on Netflix and everything, and it's completely brilliant. And Birth of a Nation is also brilliant.
Yeah, so these are definitely things that our hummingbird cult has to see if we haven't seen it.
I'm so proud of them, and Birth of a Nation especially really changed my life as an actor, as an artist, as a human being. You really understood white privilege, which I never really understood as a gay Jewish man. You know, I thought my father was a Holocaust survivor, so I thought, you know, I've got my cred. Yeah. But the difference between a person of color and a person not of color is that when somebody sees my picture to come into a room to audition, they just see a white guy. They don't know that I'm Jewish. They don't know that I'm gay. I get to come and be rejected when I get into the room for who I am. People of color are rejected before they even get to go into the room. And that's the difference. You know, also the idea that in your life, you have people who have opened a door for you because their parents opened a door for them. And people always say, why don't these people pull themselves up by their bootstraps? Well, sometimes you were never given bootstraps.
Right, you don't even have them.
Sometimes you don't even know what a bootstrap is.
Yeah.
So if you're not educated or not given the opportunities, you know, sometimes there's not a lot of possibilities. So we have to really understand our privilege, and we have to sometimes, the biggest thing I learned from doing that film is that when I was doing red carpets and interviews, people would ask me all the time, how do you feel? How do you feel about this? Nat Turner and, you know, his rebellion against the white slave plantation owners, which was me, Jason Warner Smith, and Haley Joe
Osment.
No, not that. That's from another thing. I'll remember the name in a minute.
Okay.
The three from Bad News Bears and Little Children. Oh God, forgive me, please.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. We got Googlers out there.
Yes. I realized when this one was in there, she said, "How do you feel?" I said, I said, what I do now is when I'm talking to someone about this of color, I take off my shoes, I put on the shoes of my black and brown brothers and sisters, and I just shut up and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think being heard is so important these days.
Yeah.
People want to be heard, and not being saying, when you say to someone, well, Black Lives Matter, well, all lives, no one wants to hear that, because that's not what we're talking about. Of course, all lives matter, but that's not what we're talking about at this moment.
Right.
You don't have to bring up your thing just because someone else is saying, hey, this is happening to my people. I have girlfriends who have children who are frightened, you know, so they're saying, you know, about their kids. So you want to say, hey, just listen to them, you know, hug them, you know, and acknowledge what they're going through, rather than trying to say, well, this happened to me.
Yeah, it's such a diversionary tactic also. It's also something that is done on purpose, I think, by people, where you'll, you know, say some kind of grievance that you're having or some struggle that you're having, and then they just take it off into another realm, or they...
If I talk about LGBTQ rights, they'll say, well, this happened. I said, well, that's not what I'm talking about.
That's not what we're talking about, yeah.
And even with the police, you know, defund the police, people don't realize even what that really even means.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean, you know, there are incredible police officers.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a certain infrastructure on the way things are done, and it can't happen anymore. Things have to change.
Yeah.
And it means that when you see a bunch of homeless people on the street, maybe the police aren't the right people to come over and deal with that. Maybe you need to hire a whole social worker team to help these people, rather than just having them move to someplace or arrest them.
One of the things that I talk about on this show is meeting force with force is always a problem. If you're met with some kind of force and then you try and give that equal or greater force, it's just going to escalate.
Right.
So
you want to teach the police, or not all, but the ones that are doing that, to diffuse a situation rather than accelerate it. And it's like the guy in the fast food thing who was drunk. You know, he said, hey, I just want to go home. Call my sister. She'll pick me up. And instead, he got frightened. And then people say, why did he run? Why didn't he just do it? Because there's a whole systematic history of Black people being murdered.
Yeah.
And they grow up with this. So we have to respect that, and respect that fear, and respect that reality for them. And they said, well, if it's not for you. I've been arrested 3 times for being gay.
You have?
Yeah, for different reasons. And I've been harassed. I've been, you know, so I understand what that feels like.
Yeah.
Not that it's, you know, any different. You know, there's no measure of what's...
Everybody has their own experience.
Exactly. Their pain is that your pain is your pain is your pain. But so I understand in a real-time way of how that feels.
Yeah.
You know, I certainly will never understand what it feels to be a Black person, but I can listen.
But you can listen. That's such a good point that you're making.
And that's what Birth of a Nation really taught me. So when you see this film, which is on Amazon, please watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's extraordinary performances by people, and it's extraordinarily directed and acted. And Nate Parker is just a brilliant filmmaker.
Well, this has been a great conversation. Do you want to tell a crazy story? Or...
I can tell you. Well, yeah, I'll tell a couple things. So I'll tell it in terms of what's going on. So I wrote a book. I have a book. It's called Shut Up, I'm Talking.
I like it. It's upside down. There we go. Shut up, I'm talking.
And
it's a perfect segue, too. We're like, listen. Okay, now here's my thing. Shut up, I'm talking.
It was an autobiography. I got the deal last year from CCB Publishing.
Yeah.
And to write my autobiography. And the book was going to be called I'm Not Barbara Streisand. Because growing up being a Jewish kid, she was such a big deal. She was the Lady Gaga of her time.
Yeah.
And when I went to go see Funny Girl, I was in love with Omar Sharif. So who am I left to be but Barbara Streisand? It was so confusing as a kid because there were no gay people.
Yeah.
The first chapter of the book is called Simply Streisand, or Simply Barbara, rather. Sort of a takeoff on the album she had called Simply Streisand. And when the publisher got it, they said, "Oh, we can't do this. You can't use her name. She'll sue us." I said, "Great." He said, "No, we're a small company. We can't do this. Too much money." Okay. So I called my mother. I said, "Ma, what should I call the book?" She says, "I don't know." I said, "Come on, Ma, please tell me what to do." She says, "Well, wait a second." I said, "Mom, I'm really upset. I love that title." "Oh, just shut up. I'm talking." I thought, that's it.
You were like, that's it. Oh, that's good. I like
It's
it.
also available at Amazon, and you can also get it on my website.
Awesome.
Through CCB Publishing if you live in a different country or you want to just buy it from them. Or if you want an autographed copy, go to my website and send me an email and send me $20 through Venmo or PayPal, and I will actually send you an autographed copy with a free DVD of my stand-up special, Making It to the Middle.
Well, that's awesome. Wait, you also have a movie too, right?
I have 5 movies that have come out in the last year in this whole COVID period. Abducted, action thriller on Showtime. I have cameos in Hollyweird and Devos everywhere. Immortal, I'm really proud of. It's a thriller with Dylan Baker and Tony Todd from Candyland and Sam Levine from Freaks and Geeks. And I play this detective, private investigator guy who deals in spyware. It's very different from me. I have this deep voice and I talk like this, and I'm very intimidating.
Awesome.
And that's available now on Amazon and all the platforms.
And then you just did an episode of Goliath as well, right?
Yes, during COVID. Is that shocking?
That is shocking. You're working. You're on fire.
Not really. I mean, I haven't. Yeah,
I like it. I like to say you're on fire.
Well, thank you. I'm burning. Oh, God. So I have that coming out. I guess I'm probably next year. I'm on episode 406. I work with J.K. Simmons.
Now I can say Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment, yes.
I knew he was in there somewhere.
J.K. Simmons, Haley Joel Osment, and Bruce Dern. All Oscar nominees and winners. And I swear to God, I was so completely overwhelmed and nervous. I messed up one take really bad because I got nervous. Oh, thank you for the wonderful, Bernice, thank you. Please go to my website and say hello. All my social media is on my website, which is jasonstewart.com. And I spell my name. Oh, yeah, it's right there. S-T-U-A-R.
Right there. I spelled it right. You know, Stephen Tobolowsky was on the show, and I spelled his name wrong.
Oh, my God.
It's a tough one. I didn't spell it wrong everywhere, but in this little scenario, I did.
He's the best storyteller ever.
He's so great. Yeah.
I would love to be work with him. He just, it's when you don't work as much as these people do. I work 1 day here, 2 days there, 3 days here. Even during the COVID, I did two shorts. One I did with my phone.
Yeah.
And the other one I did on Zoom.
Yeah.
I did a thing called Zoom Cocktail, which is part of a series called Zoom Anthology about these 4 guys talking about white privilege who get drunk.
Oh, wow.
And then I did another one called Corona Town.
I think you are on fire, regardless of what you say. Seems like you really are.
People say, I'm an artist. I have to act. Like after this, I'm going to an acting class with a couple of my friends. There's no teacher. We all just do Sandy Meisner stuff together, and we share information. Mm-hmm. I've been doing play readings during the COVID, film readings.
Yeah, you just have to keep going. I mean, not like, oh, I've got to make myself keep going. It's just, this is what I do. I'm going.
I mentor a lot of people, and I do that as a way of giving back. And I say to people, like, there's a great story that Barbara Streisand told in an interview. And somebody said she had this friend who came over and says, "Barbara, I have this friend who, a niece rather, who wants to be an actress. Will you talk to her?" And this is a dear friend of Barbara. She said, "Of course, have her come by the house." She comes by the house, meets with Barbara. The young girl says to Barbara, "Do you think I should be an actress?" Barbara says, "No." And she said, "Well, why?" She said, "Well, if you have to ask."
Right.
Because it has to be a need or a want. I've always wanted to be an actor, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of the time I'm scared, I'm uncomfortable. I was scared going to the Goliath set, working.
It's scary. I mean, a lot of people don't admit it, but it's scary for everybody because you're walking on a set.
I was talking to the director, Larry, and JK, and I said, God, I'm sorry I messed up that take. I was just, you guys are everywhere I wanted to be. And they said, oh, please, we do it all the time. And then JK walked into the scene, one scene, he said, hello, George. And his name is George. He used his character instead of mine. He called me his character. So everybody makes mistakes.
Of course.
Bruce Dern, 84.
Yeah.
84 years old and still doing it. And he walks in the scene, he plays sort of my boss. And he walks in the scene, I play the head of the board of this pharmaceutical company. And he says, Charles does this. And then he looked at me and I looked at him and I'm going, oh my God, I'm looking at Bruce Dern. And he goes, you got to thank Charles for this. And then as the third take came in for him, he said, you got to thank Charlie. And I'm looking at him and I'm just improvising. Thank you, sir. And they say, get out. And I walked out and he gives me a look and we're acting together.
Yeah.
We're actually acting together with it. Bruce Dern, Oscar nominee from Coming Home when I was a kid, when I saw that film and I said, oh my God, I want to be in this with these people.
Yeah. I
want to do these kind of movies and this kind of stuff. The only thing bad about Goliath for me, the worst thing about it is I couldn't come back the next day.
Yeah.
And do it. I only had the one scene.
But
I was, I'm grateful to have it. And I am a lucky guy, but it isn't just about luck. It's about, stepping up to the plate. And I have been uncomfortable so much in my life.
Well, I think sometimes with people, they think, like I had a friend when I was a kid who never rode a bike because when he got on a bike, he couldn't ride it. And he just was like, oh, well, I guess I'm no good at riding bikes. So he didn't learn until he was in college. So I think people get into acting or stand-up comedy and they're like terrified. And then that's enough. They're like, I don't want to put myself in that feeling again.
I stand up at the Comedy Store in a class. They had a Comedy Store class.
Yeah.
And Eddie Morrow was there. And and Robert Aguayo, and they had this class, these two comedians, and they ripped me to shreds. I didn't come back for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because in those days, being a comic was saying, oh, you can't make it as an actor, you have to be a comic. And
that's great.
It was considered looked down upon if you were a hyphenate.
Yeah.
You had to do one thing. And
now it's required.
Oh, now I'm an actor, I'm a comedian. I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm a director, I'm a content creator, I'm a host. I've hosted 4 different podcasts. I've been a celebrity panelist a lot, everything from Match Game to, Red Eye on Fox. I've been, I've written things. I'm an author. I've written a book now. So you got to do everything. I lecture on being openly gay in the workplace and minorities and diversity. I mentor people. You got to do everything.
Yeah. All right. I think that's right.
On your show, Lunch Therapy.
What'd you say?
I'm a guest on your show.
Yes, of course. You have to be a guest too.
I'm a guest.
Unfortunately, we've reached the end of the show, but this has been super informative and fun, and I hope that you'll come back sometime. And
anytime.
All right, cool.
JasonStewart.com, Stuart. That's how you get me.
This has been Jason Stuart. I'm going to put Jason Stuart. It's kind of easy.com. I guess I probably don't have to put it on the screen, but I'll put it there.
Look, you are just too wow.
Yeah, you got to be able to do everything, right? Just like you were saying.
You did it like
you got to do what you can do.
And in the font that matches the other font. Oh my God.
This is why sometimes I spell things wrong because I'm just like flying along, winging it.
But you were able to fix it, right? Did you fix it right on the show?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's going fast.
Super fun. All right, moving along. Let's just see what Elizabeth Croydon has to say. She says, great show, Joel. I'm glad I could tune in. We're glad that you could tune in too, Elizabeth. She's also a comedian, hilarious comedian.
Put her face up. If she's a comedian, we have to
I know. Usually she has her face. She's incognito right now.
Think you're just a fake person, that you're not real.
No, she's real. She's real. Believe me. She'll be on the show sometime. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
I'll bring her headshot.
Yeah. Well, I think she's in the witness protection program right now.
Looks like it.
Yeah. All right, Jason. So great seeing you. This has been Jason Stuart. Go see his show. It's a million things here. JasonStewart.com has all of them. And you can definitely watch Smothered. It's hilarious.
All they have to go to the website, smotheredtv.com.
Yeah, and it's they're short episodes too, so you can watch the whole thing.
7 bite-sized episodes.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun too, because you can just watch they're like little mini films.
If you forget the name of the show, you just go to jasonstewart.com and there's a button that says Smothered.
There we have it. All right. Thanks so much, Jason, and I'll see you soon.
Take
All
care.
right. See you on the set.
Huh.
Okay. All right, that was Jason Stewart. What a gift. What a gift to have him on the show. Always, it's always, people are so interesting, and Jason is definitely no exception. Here we go. We're going into the dance break now. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on this live interview and crazy story Thursday. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to the guy who invented the jetpack. So we're going to find out a lot about that. But right now, dance time, dance break. I've got Notorious. Oh no, I had Notorious Funk yesterday. Today, I've got a really fun group here. I like to find people doing covers out there on the set. Yeah, we're on the set now, I guess, right? I like to find people out there that are doing covers of songs and just having a great time and sounding good. And these people, they fit the bill. All right, dance them if you got them. Just Two, they're called. I don't know where I'm going to put my box in this. I'll put my box over here. This is the dancing box. Just two people jamming in their house. It's on the YouTube channel Chris Garcia. This song always makes me feel good. Hopefully it'll give you a boost for the rest of the day. We have our assignments for the weekend of the movies that we have to see. Thank you, Jason, for giving us that. All right, we're heading out. We'll see you tomorrow for more lunch therapy.